Breaking news for Raider Nation. The Silver and Black are back in the spotlight, and if you're a true fan, you're going to want to hear this. After the 2025 NFL Draft, the Raiders didn't slow down for even a second. With 11 new draft picks and 16 undrafted free agents already added, the roster is now stacked with 91 players, thanks to the international program that brought in David Ago. But here's the twist. If the Raiders want to bring in anyone new, someone has to go. That's how tight things are right now. And let's not forget, the Raiders still have over $42 million in cap space. Yes, you heard that right. That money could go towards securing key players like Colton Miller or Jacoby Myers long-term, but it also opens the door to add serious depth where it's needed most. Before we dive into the latest news, make sure to subscribe to the channel, give this video a like, and don't forget to hit the bell icon so you never miss an update. Now, let's move on to the new news. Right now, the biggest hole in the roster? Free safety. And honestly, linebackers right up there too. It's a 1A and 1B situation. The current defense is leaning heavily on guys like Isaiah Pola-Mao and Jeremy Chin, who are tough and talented but more comfortable playing close to the line. What this team needs is a true center field type. Someone who can control the deep end of the field and make smart plays. One name that jumps out? Justin Simmons. He's 31, but don't let that scare you. This guy has been rock solid. At least 60 tackles and 2 picks every year since 2017. He plays free safety but has the skills to move around when needed. If the Raiders bring him in on a 1-year prove-it deal, it could be exactly the veteran leadership this secondary needs. Another strong option, Julian Blackmon from the Colts. He's just 27 and has started 62 games over the last 5 years. What's special about him? He improves every single season. That kind of growth mindset is gold in a defense that's still finding its identity. Let's keep the spotlight on free safeties. And this next name should definitely grab your attention. Julian Blackmon. At just 27 years old, he's already making a big impact. Over the past 2 seasons, he's racked up 7 interceptions and 174 tackles. That's the kind of production the Raiders need in the backfield. Even more impressive? His coverage game is strong. With PFF grades of 72.6 in 2023 and 73.5 in 2024, he's proven he can shut down the deep ball, something the Raiders have lacked in recent years. Next up, Jordan Whitehead. He's 28, has started over 100 NFL games and played a key role in winning a Super Bowl with Tom Brady in 2019. But here's why he's really a good fit for the Raiders, his versatility. He's played deep, in the box, and even in the slot. That kind of flexibility is exactly what this defense is hungry for, especially with the need to strengthen the nickel corner spot. Then there's Quandre Diggs, a seasoned vet at 32. Sure, he only played 8 games last season, but let's not forget the big picture. 145 games in his career and 3 straight Pro Bowl appearances between 2020 and 2022. His connection to Pete Carroll from his time in Seattle is another bonus. With a 73.2 overall PFF grade and strong marks in run defense and coverage, Diggs still looks like a guy who can lead and deliver, even at this stage in his career. And finally, if you're looking for a bargain with some bounce-back potential, Marcus Williams might be worth a shot. Yes, he had a rough 2024 with the Ravens. No sugarcoating that. But before that? From 2017 to 2023, he was a rock-solid safety with the Saints. If the Raiders want to roll the dice on a low-cost, high-upside option, a 1-year deal for Williams could be a smart move, especially if the goal is to spark a comeback story. The question is, which of these safeties fits best in the silver and black? With money to spend and time to prepare, the Raiders have choices. Now it's about making the right one. Let's shift gears and talk about the linebacker position because, let's be honest, it's still one of the biggest holes in the Raiders roster. Right now, Devin White and Elandon Roberts look like the starting duo. That's a solid start, no doubt. But after them, the depth gets shaky. You've got young players like Amari Burney, Amari Gaynor, and Tommy Eichenberg, plus Cody Lindenberg, the 7th-round pick. There's potential in that group, but potential alone won't win games. The Raiders need someone who can step in and cover right now. One name to watch, Kezier White. He's 29, started all 17 games last season, and has a history of being a tackling machine. Over 480 tackles in the last 4 seasons, averaging 120 a year. He also brings versatility. While he didn't line up in the slot often, he has shown he can move around when needed, something defensive coordinator Patrick Graham values. Add in the fact that he's familiar with the AFC West from his time with the Chargers, and he might just be a smart fit. Another linebacker worth considering is Jawan Bentley. He's had 3 straight 100-plus tackle seasons from 2021 to 2023. Last season, though, an injury sidelined him early. Even so, his experience and leadership could help stabilize the linebacker core, especially after the Raiders missed out on Christian Ellis, a target they reportedly had strong interest in. Now let's be real. Neither White nor Bentley is a wow signing, but in a group that's still finding its identity, a reliable veteran might be exactly what this defense needs. And if the Raiders want to take a chance on a younger, less proven player, Chaz Surratt is a name floating around. He hasn't had many chances to show what he can do, but maybe, just maybe, he earns a look during camp. Sometimes all a player needs is the right system and the right moment. The question is simple. Do the Raiders stand pat, or go all in on building linebacker depth before training camp? This decision could shape the defense heading into the season. Let's be honest, the linebacker unit in Vegas is still full of question marks. Sure, there's raw talent, but raw doesn't win games in December. Right now, the Raiders are hoping one of their young guys steps up and shocks everyone at camp. If there's one name flying under the radar that could turn heads this season, it's Amari Gaynor. He's physical, explosive, and plays with a chip on his shoulder. Exactly what you want in a Raider. He may not be a household name yet, but don't be surprised if he makes that leap this year. Now let's pivot to another area that needs immediate attention: nickel cornerback. Right now, it looks like Darnay Holmes is penciled in as the starting nickel. While there's more confidence in the outside corners, like Jacorian Bennett and Cameron Richardson, the slot is a different story. Bennett, for instance, played strong outside last year, so shifting him inside could actually hurt his progress. That's why a seasoned nickel like Mike Hilton makes a lot of sense. He's 31, yes, but he's been consistently solid. 4 straight seasons with a 70-plus PFF grade, over 150 tackles, 13 pass breakups, and 24 tackles for loss in just the last 2 years. He's physical, smart, and experienced. For a defense with so much youth in the secondary, a voice like Hilton's in the locker room could be a game-changer. Another name floating around? Troy Hill, a veteran who's transitioned into more slot work as he's aged. He didn't get many snaps last year with Tampa Bay, but we've seen what he can do in the right scheme. If the Raiders want cheap depth with upside, Hill could be worth a 1-year look. Bottom line, the nickel corner position needs help, and the answer may lie in veteran experience. With a young and hungry defensive backfield, adding the right voice could be the key to turning this unit into a force. One name that quietly deserves a second look is Troy Hill. While he may not be a headline grabber at this stage of his career, his 2024 numbers tell a different story. A 70.6 coverage grade despite limited action. He logged over 200 slot snaps, and though his overall PFF score was modest, his experience in coverage holds value for a team still seeking reliability in the nickel. It's no coincidence that Hill was previously signed by a regime that included John Spytek. That kind of connection matters, especially in a system that values familiarity and versatility. For a defense as young and evolving as the Raiders, a vet like Hill could provide crucial depth and guidance. Now, let's address the name hovering over every free agent discussion: Asante Samuel Jr. Yes, he's arguably the biggest name still on the board, But let's be clear, he's not a slot corner. Nearly every snap in his career has come on the outside. Could he adapt to a nickel role? Maybe, but that's not where he thrives. If the Raiders are serious about upgrading the slot, forcing Samuel Jr. into a role that doesn't match his strengths might be a step in the wrong direction. If the goal is to solidify the nickel, Mike Hilton and Troy Hill remain the most logical fits. Experienced, scheme-aware, and still productive. As for the big picture, let's zoom out. After breaking it all down, 3 positions clearly stand out as areas where Las Vegas may still look to upgrade. Free safety, linebacker, nickel corner. Outside of that, the roster looks relatively set. There's a chance the Raiders bring in a veteran wideout, just to add some experience behind Devontae Adams and Jacoby Myers, but the core focus should remain on those 3 defensive spots. This stretch of the offseason is where smart front offices quietly build depth. If Vegas makes the right calls, especially at those 3 key positions, they could turn defensive vulnerability into strength heading into camp. Let's be honest, if the Raiders add a veteran wide receiver at this stage, it won't be because of urgent need. It would be about chemistry and leadership, not depth. Still, there's one name that continues to linger in conversations: Keenan Allen. Allen isn't just a proven playmaker, he's a lifelong Raider fan. He also has a deep established relationship with wide receivers coach Chris Beatty, having worked with him from 2021 to 2024. That kind of familiarity could hold serious value in helping mentor a very young receiving core. Statistically, Allen has remained consistent, starting at least 10 games every season since 2017 and still producing when healthy. But this isn't about numbers, it's about culture. If the Raiders are looking to add a voice to the locker room who can lead by example and elevate the unit around him, Allen's name is worth watching. But let's be real. If Vegas did bring him in, it likely signals some concern around Trey Tucker, especially after the team added 3 more receivers in the draft. For Tucker, it could raise questions about his role and long-term fit. There's been chatter about Amari Cooper too, mostly from fans, and while he's still a top-tier talent in some eyes, this doesn't feel like a move the Raiders would pull, not with the current trajectory of their offense and the emphasis on developing younger talent. It's a pass. Now, let's shift gears. There's a category of players who may not perfectly fill a position of need, but still matter. Culture drivers, mentors, team builders. The Raiders have started shaping their roster not just around talent, but around buy-in, discipline, and shared vision. Any final additions to this team may not be about flash. They'll be about fitting the philosophy that Antonio Pierce and his staff are trying to cement. These are the moves that don't make headlines, but make winners. If you're building a locker room that's locked in and fully bought into one vision, you need more than just young talent. You need vets who've walked the path. Guys who don't just talk it, they've lived it. Let's start with John Jenkins. 35 or not, this man still brings something the Raiders could use: presence and reliability in the trenches. Compared to the depth options like Matthew Butler or even Jerry Tillery before he was released, Jenkins offers consistency. He's a space eater, a tone setter, and he's not just a rotational guy, he's a culture enforcer. With our defensive line leaning young, Jenkins could be that quiet glue in the middle. Another name? Amir Abdullah. No, he won't be your bell cow. But last season, when it mattered, he left everything on the field. He was gritty, unselfish, and efficient in pass protection and the screen game. If you're lining up late in the season needing a third down conversion, who do you trust more? Abdullah, or an unproven name like Dylan Lobb, or a banged-up Sincere McCormick? Abdullah won't steal the spotlight, but he'll make sure someone else can shine. And then there's Shaquille Barrett, a name you don't toss around lightly. He's a Super Bowl winner with championship pedigree, a leader who's played under pressure and thrived in it. If the Raiders are seriously thinking about bringing in guys like Devin White, then Barrett should be in that same conversation. Yes, he's battled injuries, But if you're looking for someone who understands what it takes to play winning football and has chemistry with this new regime, Barrett is that guy. These aren't splashy moves, but championship teams aren't always built with explosions. Sometimes they're built with quiet additions that set the tone, lead from the shadows, and make sure the standard never drops. Let me know if you'd like me to now compile all sections into a full video-ready script.